So I'm really excited because I just figured out a piano arrangement for one of my favorite R&B songs called Paradise by Jeremih, which was the last track on his mixtape called Late Nights from 2016, which I think was a very sort of under-heralded, underappreciated album. And this song in particular is super unique because it takes this really lush, jazzy, sort of sophisticated piano. In this case, it's a piano arrangement. In the recording, it's guitar, but the music is so elegant sounding and very atypical of what you would hear in the genre. So I was just very interested to hear sort of how he creates that effect. I'm going to play for you just the piano for a little bit, and then show you what it sounds like with the lyrics, so you can get a little bit of a sense of what I mean. So here's just the music. Very spacey, very romantic, very jazzy. It doesn't really sound like something that you would normally hear these lyrics planted under. We got, woke up at home off that Molly, bad bitch, red bone on my body, smelling like Patron and Mikasa. That was one hell of a party. Waking back then, I'm right in it. Don't ask in the morning, I just hit it. Then she gon' skate like she Tony Hawk. Man, I'm right back on my sinning. So it's very quirky because you got these super sexual, raunchy R&B lyrics over such a delicate series of chords. So I was always curious sort of just to hear how he achieves that effect and sort of why it sounds so interesting, right? I mean, so nice. I would encourage you, if you don't know the song, to listen to the actual recording because there are all of these layered harmonies and just like, I don't know if he wrote the music, but whoever set that up is just so brilliant. So yeah, I always like to sort of contextualize pop music and sort of understand how artists achieve that effect in their music and sort of what makes this song in particular, what makes this song different. And there are a couple of things that he does that are really sort of common songwriting techniques, but you just don't really hear it, like I said, in this genre. So it's a very simple progression in the key of B flat. We start on the B flat chord, and you can't really see this, but on the piano, I'm playing 2 B flat notes, which is significant because a B flat to a B flat is the home for that chord. That's the tonic note. So it's very resolved. Just playing a B flat, nothing is that different. But the next, we're playing 2 A's, which in the context of a B flat chord is its major 7th. And usually when you play a 7th chord or any other sort of variation of a chord, you don't play that different note twice. But in this case, when we do that, it creates a very pronounced and, like I said, sort of dreamy effect. And when we continue to go down and double those notes, so it's a very powerful feeling. It's called a descending line cliche, which is basically just a fancy word for going down a half step or one note on the piano. And like I said, in order to make that feeling more powerful, we're doubling those notes that are changing, which is not something that you usually do. Next, you have these arpeggio patterns, which makes that effect all that more powerful because you hear all of the notes that are being changed. And it also, the arpeggios, it's a very sort of sensitive, sensitive way of playing, and again, not usually affiliated with the kind of music that Jeremih makes. And so yeah, we have those three components. We have a descending line cliche, where we double the notes that are changing, and we have the arpeggios. Now, in order to sort of give you a sense of how these songwriting techniques usually sound, what sort of triggered my recollection of this song and figuring it out was that I heard these patterns in a totally different song from the movie or musical Grease. There's a country ballad song called Hopelessly Devoted to You, and it uses all of those, uses the same arpeggios, the same descending line cliche, and the same doubling of the notes in the line cliche. And it has a very different effect, and you can sort of get a sense of what I'm referring to. So we have, I guess mine's not the first heartbroken, my eyes not the first to cry. So it's literally, it's such a different song, but it uses the same arpeggio pattern in the verse. It's the same thing. Woke up at home with that money, baby's been born on my body. Same arpeggio. And a minute later in the song, in the chorus, you're going to hear the same exact descending line cliche, the same exact doubling of the notes done for the same exact effect. So we have in the chorus, it's there's no way to hide when you push my love aside. I'm out of my head, hopelessly devoted to you, hopelessly devoted. So that's the same descending line cliche with the same doubling. And again, it just a minute later in the chorus, the same exact sort of trick. The same descending cliche. And I just thought that was so brilliant of Jeremih or whoever the producer is here to be able to incorporate such, workable songwriting and blend genres and create something unique. And I just think if you don't know music theory, I hope I explain some of that in a way that's understandable without really knowing the terminology. And if you do, I think it's always very interesting to sort of dissect and pick apart where things that you normally sort of wouldn't catch just listening to the music, but when you have it compared with other types of music, it becomes really sort of interesting theoretical exercise. So, I hope regardless of your understanding of music theory, that you were able to sort of digest what's going on here, because I certainly did.